I listen to so-called financial planners. Um, they say just give your money to them, and they'll invest it in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. For the average person, that's not bad advice. I don't do that stuff. If you're really going to learn to be rich, you have to learn how to sell, how to use debt, and how not to pay taxes. That's the game. Does this crash destroy you, or did it make you better? I wrote a book called Rich Dad's Prophecy, and I said the biggest stock market in history was coming in 2016. So the biggest crash in world history came in March 2020. We're going into a depression. Hope not. But I would say there's a 60% chance we're in a depression. Now, for somebody with a soul and a spirit, it's the greatest opportunity in history. The world's changing. I'm going to get out of this thing. So today we're in this, I think we're going into a major depression. I hate to say that, but are you prepared for it? I'm prepared for it. So making money has never been an issue, not maybe a high-paying job as an employee. So that's kind of, it wasn't challenging. So I want the challenge. I flew gunships in Vietnam. Now, you want to fly gunships in Vietnam, you have some prep work to do. Doesn't mean I was a hero or anything, because I wasn't. We're just happy to bring my crew back alive. That's all we cared about. But to get to that level of flying is the same as investing. And I think that's what I really learned, is the dedication, not to be the best pilot, but be the best that I could be. And if I'm not the best that I can be, people die. And a lot of people, it's okay to be average, if you know what I mean. But when you get into that situation, when you're going in and out of combat zones, I went down three times, but I wouldn't be back today if I hadn't practiced to be the best. And so when I go into the world of money and investing, I'm still not, I'm not Zuckerberg or those guys. But you still have to be the best you can be. If you're not willing to be the best that you can be, that's the best for you. You're an average person. Nothing wrong with being average. But there's something inside each of us that wants to be the best at something. So when I hang out with my friends also want to be the best. And so in some of my books and things, I said, look at the 5 people you spend time with. If they're not striving to be the best, that's who you are too. I've been in shock. I've lost millions. I've done all that. But it's your spirit that carries you out. And, it's horrifying. When I never got shot down, but I lost my engine several times because our aircraft were so tired from just flying so hard, So every time my engine quit, I had already practiced crashing every single day in flight school. So when it quit, it was like just flight school, just dropped. And most people avoid the terror of life. And so they try and live in this little bandwidth called comfort. I want to be comfortable, I want to be happy, I just want a safe, secure job, I want security and all that. And so when I went to apply for the Marine Corps, I had to step it up. So he said, well, I want to be a plumber. Well, I don't have the skills. Well, I can't be a plumber. I didn't do well in school, you can tell. I'm a C student. Well, an entrepreneur has a different set of skills than an employee. The reason I run companies, the reason I'm an entrepreneur is I have different skills than they teach you at school. I don't want job security. Security is the worst word in the world for me. My father, poor dad, was a PhD. He had no entrepreneurial skills. His whole life was based around fear, the fear of failing. He needed job security. He could never make it as an entrepreneur. Never. Not with that spirit. They chose security. They chose security. And what I did, instead of going to work for United, my rich dad, my best friend's father, says, you're not an entrepreneur. I said, why is that? He says, because you can't sell. You're too shy. He says, you can't handle rejection. You're not going to make it as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs, there's 1,000 rejections to 1. And he says, you better go get rejected pretty quickly. And then for 2 years, I was the worst salesman they ever had. I was going to get fired from Xerox. And so I went to my rich dad and I said to him, why? What's wrong? He says, how many sales calls do you make a day? I said, on a good day, 3. He says, that's why you're not successful. Same formula. He says, you have to fail more. He says, you got to step up your failure rate. And I had a goal. I had to fail 35 times that night. So I just failed 35 times. Now, interesting thing happened. My numbers at Xerox went up. You see, I was handling that fear. I was handling the wimp in me, the coward. And most people don't want to go through the wimp. And that's why I don't have much time for it. So you have more access to great teachers than ever before via YouTube and the little handheld devices. But it's up to you to choose, what do I want to learn?